Friends, this is Timir Baron Chatterjee from TCN Global and Economic Advisory Services LLP. Today's discussions will be concentrated on India-Bangladesh bilateral relations. In the background of the Honorable Bangladesh PM's visit to India from 5th September to 8th September 2022. These discussions will be highly academic, research oriented, and could be helpful to the professionals, to the students, to the researchers from trade and bilateral point of view. Friends, we have divided the entire discussions into 4 parts. We'll deal with the background in the first part. In the second part, we'll discuss about the historical background between India and Bangladesh. In the third part, we'll discuss the various issues. In the fourth part, we'll summarize the deliberations and decisions taken by the 2 premiers in the bilateral meeting. The first part will deal with background. You are aware of the fact that the Honorable Bangladesh PM Sheikh Hasina has recently visited India from 5th September 2022 to 8th September 2022 and had a meeting with the Honorable PM of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji, and other dignitaries, including Indian large corporates. There was a 4-day visit to boost bilateral ties between these 2 great countries. If you see and critically analyze, you will find this visit was well positioned when India has marched past British to emerge as the 5th largest economy in the world. Similarly, the Honorable PM of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina ji, was and is at the helm of the entire country for a continuous period of 13 years and helped Bangladesh to grow in every sphere of the activities. In this background, between these 2 great countries, we'll review the growing India-Bangladesh partnership, its achievement, and the issues which are still pending for resolution. The second part of our deliberation will deal with the history of India-Bangladesh relationship. The 2 neighbors, India and Bangladesh, are really linked with each other in terms of culture, heritage, food habits, everything. However, the bilateral relations between these two nations formally started after the Bangladesh liberations and independence in the year 1971, when India had played a very key and pivotal role along with the Mukti Bahini of Bangladesh, separating East Pakistan to separate from Pakistan and emerge as an independent country. You might be knowing that India was the first country who recognized Bangladesh as a separate and independent state, and it established diplomatic relations with Bangladesh immediately after its independence. This is the history, and India lost lot of soldiers in this 1971 war. The third part of the deliberation is very, very important, and that is, what is the significance of Bangladesh to India? Why Bangladesh is so important for India? We have tried to analyze most important areas where Bangladesh is strategically located to India in many areas. First, from the perspective of India's northeast, Bangladesh is India's most strategic and trusted neighbor. The only connection between India's mainland and the northeast was the chicken snake, a narrow strip of land that has always been a huge security concern. So, strategic point of view, Bangladesh is a very, very important country for India. Now, if you talk about Act East policy of India, it cannot work without Bangladesh. It can only be materialized with the helping hands of Dhaka. Perhaps on top of the list is connectivity between India's mainland and the Kushiyara northeast. You may be knowing that goods are now being moved from mainland to northeast of India through Bangladesh ports. Third most important area is the internal security. India's internal security. The big security concern for India is that Bangladesh should not be a center for radical terror in the southeast. It should not be used as a launch pad by the religious radical terrorists. And in this area, Bangladesh's contribution is immense. Fourth most important area is countering China. India's relationship with Bangladesh is also linked to its relationship with China. India may not want Bangladesh to become a pearl in Chinese string of pearl strategy. And fifth reason is the trade. Bangladesh is the fourth largest export destination of India. India's merchandise exports to Bangladesh is approximately $16 billion, which is almost 20% of the Bangladesh total imports. So from that point of view, Bangladesh is a very big trading partner of India. India also receives the highest number of tourists and medical patients from Bangladesh every year. Particularly if you go to any reputed private hospitals in the eastern region, I have personally seen that about 30 to 40% of the patients are from Bangladesh. So there are about 6 most important strategic significance on the part of India to have a good bilateral relationship with Bangladesh. One, strategically it is located beside the Indian border. Connectivity to East Asia, internal security, countering China, growing trade relationship, and of course tourism. These are the major 6 areas which are of great importance to India. We now discuss certain important issues which are hurting the relationship to certain extent. I will just touch upon those issues without going for a detailed discussions. The first one is illegal migration from Bangladesh to India. Second is the increasing Chinese footprint. This is more particularly with reference to Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Bangladesh in the year 2016, wherein both the countries agreed to join OBOR, that means One Belt, One Road. Bangladesh is increasingly tilting towards China due to the Asian giant's massive trade, infrastructural and defense investments. Inner seas, another area. The National Register of Citizens has left out 1.9 million Assamese from the list with a group labeled as illegal migrants from Bangladesh living in Assam post 1971. India plans to seek their repatriation to Bangladesh. Rohingya issue, river disputes, and recently India has prohibited export of rice and wheat due to its own internal requirement. To me, these are around 6 issues, major issues, which might be hurting the relationship between India and Bangladesh. Now, let us discuss what are the achievements, great achievements, both the countries have achieved. Very recently in September meeting. According to our review, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's recent visit to India and meeting with the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji have really resulted in positive outcomes by executing several agreements. Major agreements include the conclusion of the first water sharing agreement in 26 years. The water sharing agreement on the Kushiyara river, which was preceded by the first joint river commission meeting in 12 years, is a particularly hopeful sign of resolving water management. Second, there has been a smaller agreement on the withdrawal of 1.82 cusecs from the Feni in the interim period. The Kushiyara agreement is the first time the government has been able to bring on board Assam and other northeastern states for the agreement since the 1996 Ganga Water Treaty. As you may be knowing that in India, river is a state subject, so state's approval is very important. In the defense and security, there are many developments. The militaries of the two countries will conduct joint exercises and training exercise Sampriti and Navy, called as Exercise Milan. India will help Bangladesh set up manufacturing and service centers for defense platforms that both countries possess with the aim of achieving self-sufficiency in defense. India also extended its first ever defense-related line of credit to its neighboring country by providing Bangladesh with $500 million to purchase defense equipments from India. India and Bangladesh have decided to start negotiations this year on a bilateral comprehensive economic partnership agreement. It's a very big achievement. We call it SEPA. It will allow both the countries to export their product to the other countries without having any tariff barrier. Now, Bangladesh PM's focus during this visit was in the areas of industrial development, FDI inflow to their country, and she referred to dedicated special economic zones will be constructed only for Indian companies. It's a very big development. Bangladesh Economic Zones Authority plans to sign a commercial agreement with India by this year for establishing the Indian Special Economic Zone. We also learned that India has already approved $115 million for the project under its third line of credit amounting to $4.5 billion. We will also be happy to note that Adani Group has already proposed to invest 4,500 taka in Bangladesh to construct the SEZ. We also learned that Bangladesh authority is ready to hand over land to Indian developer Adani Ports and SEZ Limited to begin construction for the SEZ, which will be set up exclusively for Indian investors on 1,000 acres of land. It's a great achievement, and probably this will be the largest FDI in Bangladesh. These are the major achievements for both the countries. India has to expand its trade with Bangladesh. India's contributions to Bangladesh import is approximately 20%, so there is much scope for India to expand its further export of merchandise. Similarly, Bangladesh also needs FDI, Bangladesh also needs FII, Bangladesh also needs investments. There India can extend hand. And it is expected that this visit will certainly help both the countries to go for a higher cooperations based on the spirit of 1971. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. If you like our deliberations, please like it, please share it, and also subscribe it. It will help us to come back to you with many such videos which have great importance and significance for the students, for the professionals, for the advocates and learned people to understand where we stand and where we are going forward. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.